Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.
Welcome to the meat market. The single scene is a slaughterhouse and we are here to devour it. We are your hosts. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Jess.
And today's sizzling single is Sam. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So you had made the comment that you ended not only a relationship, but an entire engagement because of your gut intuition. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so over time, I've really developed my intuition, and that was like the main time in my life where I figured out how to do that. It's really hard to distinguish between anxiety and fear and my gut, and I know that a lot of people feel that same way. But at this point, I figured out that my gut is like, it's like a little tug in my stomach that always tells me no. And I use that for any situation at this point. I'm apartment hunting right now, and there's one that's right above me that is like ideal, perfect. But when I think about it, I get that little tug, and that's it telling me like, no, that's not it. And so sometimes it kind of defies logic and evidence, but I know that's how tuned in I am at this point. It's just, I know it's a no. So,
Smart. Do you remember that? You know him. You went on a motorcycle ride with him. There was a guy that was very good looking, very successful, smart, and he was pursuing me. And I just had that gut intuition telling me, no, run. So I didn't go there. And then he turned out to be freaking psycho crazy, like out of control.
Yeah. I think we chatted about this, and it's funny. It's always so interesting to me to see women posting in these like Facebook groups, you know, like the, are we dating the same guy? Like something in my gut tells me it's off, but like I need proof.
Yes.
It's like, why do we need proof
Yes.
as women? Like if something doesn't feel right,
Yep.
we should trust our guts more, because it's like, if it's not right with you, it probably isn't going to be right. Yep. And then it's like, the proof is likely just going to cause more hurt. So it's like, cut it off, walk away, trust your gut always. I think there's a huge lesson in that.
and I haven't listened to it before and kind of dove right into a relationship that I should not have. And that turned out to be crazy. So
I've done the same thing.
Yeah, because we try to override it because we're like, we want this to
Yes.
work. We want to,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
it never turns out well.
In my case, it was a friend had set us up. And I said to her, I was like, this happened and it just doesn't feel right. And she was like, no, he's a great guy. Like, I promise you, he was just nervous. And we've talked about this on the show before. Like, if I would have just trusted my gut from the first date, I would have saved myself years of my life.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
Do you guys believe that when it's the right person that you won't feel hesitation or that you won't be overthinking it?
I think so. When I met my husband, I didn't overthink anything.
Really?
And I didn't stress about anything. I never stressed about when to text him, what to text him, didn't think about if I say this, is he going to judge me? If I ask this, is he going to judge me? It just came so naturally and so easily.
I tend to not stress about that stuff anyways.
You're lucky.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
But yeah, I do think that women's intuition is always right.
Yes.
And you should definitely listen to it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So you also made the comment that you absolutely do not want kids, and that's a deal breaker. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm 33, and I just never have felt that biological urge to have kids, or I guess the maternal instinct. I have a dog, and he's my everything, and I love being mom to him, but no matter what relationship, people are like, you're going to meet a guy and he's going to change your mind. And I don't know if that's a good thing if I change my mind just because of a person, because then what happens if something happens to that relationship? But I've never wanted them.
Do you like kids? Like, do you like being around kids? Do you have nieces and nephews?
I have nieces and nephews, and I love them, and I love being around them. But I get overstimulated kind of easily, and I think that's one of the reasons that I don't, is because I like my quiet, I like my alone time, and you don't really get that when you
like
kids.
to be able to give the kids back to their parents
Yes.
at the end of the night.
Yes.
Like, not that you don't want them to come home with you,
Exactly.
basically, but like,
and maybe once
you can
they
have them back.
Yeah, maybe once they get older, then it's easier to spend time with them. But at least the younger kids, it's harder for me.
Yeah.
So question, have you ever dated a guy that you didn't feel something negative in your gut, that you were super happy with and you thought that it was going to end in marriage?
Yes, but that didn't last very long because then my gut finally came in. So maybe not.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if it is fear and anxiety of, I don't know, commitment or.
No, because I think every relationship that I've had has put me in the place that I need to be. Like the one that I had last year that I've talked to you guys about before that it turned out was really crazy. It ended up getting me my own apartment and where I've developed my own community, and it's really been amazing. So good things have come from listening to my gut, even though at the time it's been really crappy and uncomfortable and doesn't feel good.
Everything does happen for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. At the time it might suck, but you just have to keep reminding yourself that it's going to work out for the better in the long run. Yeah. And you're going to look back and say, thank God it happened just as it did.
Yeah. And you need to figure out like what the relationship was meant to teach you.
Yeah.
Right. Like what was the lesson supposed to be in the relationship, even though it didn't work out.
And that one that I'm talking about is boundaries, because I didn't have strong enough boundaries. And so it really taught me how, and I'm a people pleaser too. So having to get over my people pleasing and then having to establish strong boundaries too.
You had some good quotes. I love your one that you said, I was blinded by the blue eyes.
He had really pretty blue eyes.
He was a narcissist, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of overlooked that red flag because you were blinded by the blue eyes. So tell us about him.
Well, he was really good at convincing me how crazy he was about me. And I kind of fell into that because, and I hate saying this, but he is really good looking. And I hadn't dated someone who looked exactly like him before. I'm not trying to insult anybody I've dated in the past, but he was just all for me. And that felt really good because the last relationship I was in, it didn't feel like he was all for me. As much as I tried to make it that way or like ask, like, please, can I have, like, I need more from you. I need more emotional availability, that kind of thing. And I wasn't getting it. So when I started getting that from this guy, I was like, oh, well, like this is what it's supposed to be like. And then it turns out it was not, it was not right.
It was just love bombing.
Yeah. And I mean, you hear about love bombing, you hear about gaslighting and manipulation, and I'd never experienced it before. And in the moment, I didn't realize I was experiencing it either. And looking back now, I'm like, oh my God, how did I let myself go through that for the months that I did? But again, kind of with what the gut instinct thing is, you're hopeful that you can get through it, or that it's just that it's just fear, that it's whatever. But in this case, it was my gut was right.
So what are some of the things that he would do? Like, did he say, I love you really early? Was it gifts? Was it like acts of service?
For the love bombing?
What did it look like for you with that relationship?
He was, telling me he was crazy about me, wanting to spend a bunch of time with me, wanting to, just be around me all the time and very complimentary, making me feel good, that kind of thing. So it was more about action and the words that he was saying.
Yeah.
Such a red flag. I've been with guys that do that and it never lasts.
Yeah. And I feel like love bombing looks different from different people depending on what either, and I don't know if it's their love language or if it's what they think that your love language is. And so if he felt like, oh, she really needs words of affirmation, the words of affirmation work, it's like, then that's all it is.
They got their hooks in you.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I have a friend who, she's been in a relationship like that too, but he gave her like a car and he gave her gifts and trips to Europe and that kind of thing, which got her in, Yeah, wouldn't do that for me though.
So there's another Sam quote that I love. You're like, I really like meeting people in the wild. So you're not on the dating apps?
I'm not on the dating apps. I've been on and off of them. I'm not right now. I think that it's easier for me to get a feel for people's energy in person. And the dating apps are so hard. Like it does not feel like many men make an effort at all to have good conversation. And it's like, why are you even on here if you're not going to talk, and I get more nervous going on a date with someone that I haven't met before. So it's nicer when you actually meet them in person and then you get a feel for them right away.
Do you have any dating disaster stories? Or have you been catfished?
I have, I wasn't catfished, but I went on a date once and he took me to this like decrepit amusement park
Wow, that's kind of creepy.
Here in town?
No,
Or was it
this was in Colorado.
in Colorado? Okay.
And we didn't go on any rides. We just sat at a table, and he was just really weird. And he told me his favorite kind of music was aggressive Dutch music.
What?
I was
so
like,
random.
what is aggressive Dutch music? And you know, I'm sure you guys have been on dates before where you're like, I need to leave. Like, I need to get out of here. So I was trying to think of any excuse that I could to get out. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I have to leave. I have to meet my friends for Starbucks, which wasn't true. But I legitimately just drove to a Starbucks afterwards in case he like saw where I was going. But it was icky. Yeah.
Weird. Did he put on wooden shoes and do some
I would
clogging?
not have been surprised if he did do that. But like, what the heck's aggressive Dutch music?
I know, right?
I'm gonna look that up now.
That's what I think of, like the Tulip Festival back in my hometown when they all put on the wooden shoes and like broom the streets and do their clogging in the middle of the street.
But what makes it aggressive?
And that's what I'm like imagining the music in my head, and I just can't imagine such like a jovial, you know, tradition being aggressive.
Because they're such nice people. I have many Dutch friends and they're
yes,
so nice.
I know.
How could they be aggressive?
Maybe it's like EDM or house music or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know, but it's not for me.
So tell us about you. So what are your hobbies? What do you do in your free time?
What do I do in my, well, I mentioned I have a dog, so I spend a lot of time with him. We have a daily tradition of going to the dog park every day. Aww. Yeah, and it's fun because it's always with the same people. A lot of them are in their 70s and 80s, so I feel like really comfortable just hanging out with all of them. I love hiking, which is so great in Arizona, and I grew up in Colorado too, so I get to do that a lot. I love horseback riding. I love singing. The last two I really need to do more of because there are certain things, you know, that bring you joy in life, and I don't do enough of those two things.
Singing,
so.
what's your go-to karaoke song?
We always ask
that
this
is
question.
a great question.
Do you karaoke?
I haven't karaoke'd in years.
Okay, but you do, but you will.
Yeah, the last one that I sang was "Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under" by Shania Twain.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a crowd pleaser, I feel like.
Yeah. Any Shania.
That is true.
Where do you go to karaoke in town if you go to karaoke?
I've never been in Arizona.
You've never been
You
in Arizona?
haven't?
No.
Oh, there's some good
Grapevine.
places.
Yeah.
And Ernie's. Have you been to karaoke at Ernie's
Is that
up north?
Scottsdale-on-Shay? I have.
Oh, that's so close to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of really good karaoke spots.
Are you good? Are you a good singer?
I think I used to be a good singer. I grew up doing choir and a cappella.
Okay.
Which I love a cappella so much, but I haven't sang in a long time. My mom would say yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My mom always wants me to
She's
sing.
your biggest fan.
Yeah.
Aw.
But not so much anymore.
Yeah.
So what are your deal breakers?
What are my deal breakers? I mean, unfortunately, a man who wants to have more kids, I don't have a problem with a man that has kids already necessarily. I would say someone who has a lot of drama with their ex that they are still involved in or that they still talk about. Oh, this is a good date. It's not a disaster story, but kind of, I went on a date when I was living in Montana with this guy who one of the first things I asked him was like, how are you today? He went into a really long spiel about how much he hates his ex-wife and how he wishes she would fall off a cliff.
Wow, that is bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like starting off the date like that, first of all, but then also telling me that, I'm like, ooh, that's kind of like an automatic no for me, dog, you know?
Wow.
So someone who's negative, and someone who doesn't have emotional depth or emotional awareness too. Like I connect with someone immediately on an emotional level. That's how it is for me. So I can't do superficial small talk.
Speaking of wishing your ex-wife would fall off a cliff, did you hear about that doctor that tried to push his wife off a cliff in Hawaii by asking her to take a selfie on the edge of a cliff, and she was too scared to because she didn't like heights, so she was uncomfortable, so she wouldn't do it. So then he got a rock and started smashing her skull in, and she was like crawling away, and so he got an injection out and was going to inject her with something, and luckily 2 witnesses or passerbyers like walked past, and she like screamed for help, and now he's arrested. But crazy,
Was
right?
this recently?
It was recently. It was
What
in the
the
news this
hell?
week. Yeah.
That happened in Colorado too,
Oh,
in Rocky
life.
Mountain National Park, but she actually fell and died. And so there's a whole documentary about it called Wild Crime, about like crimes that happen in the wilderness, and one of them is about that, is she was taking a photo of herself.
Oh
and
my God.
he pushed her off.
That's terrifying. If anyone ever mentions pushing their ex off of a cliff on a date, like I am running for the hills. Like that's
crazy.
scary.
This lady, though, she survived. So karma, he's in jail and she's living her best life.
Good for her, though she's probably scarred forever.
Oh yeah, oh my God.
Yeah. Wow.
So are you looking to get married again or get married?
Get married? I think so. A lot of people that I meet nowadays are like, there's no point in getting married, like, because you can be committed the same way. And that's true. But I think that part of it is me wanting someone to want me enough to marry, if that makes sense. Because in the past, I've not felt marryable or by people that I've been with. Now that sounds sad to say, and I'm not trying to be woe is me, but yes, I do want to get married eventually. Yeah.
And then let's see, do you have any crazy talents or unique facts about yourself that not many people know? You can sing?
I can sing, I guess. Yeah, I don't really tell many people that I can sing. So that is probably something of a surprise to even my close friends now, just because I don't do it very often. So probably singing. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head right now that would be like super impressive to people.
Do you have a type? Like what's the type of guy that you're looking for? Physical or like personality characteristics?
Funny, athletic. I think an important thing is that people like him. I don't know if that's thought about as much, but that not necessarily that he has a lot of friends, but that he's liked by everyone.
Like general, like he's a general good character.
Someone who's kind and I would say athletic for sure, has a work ethic, ambitious, caring, and wants to take care of people in his life and close to his family. That's kind of a deal breaker too, is well, maybe not a deal breaker, but I want someone that is close to their family and wants to be close to mine too.
You know what I love about you is you're so naturally beautiful. Like you have beautiful hair. You're hardly wearing any makeup. You seem so real and down to earth. You're just like real, authentic, good people.
That's really nice. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. The Keep More Minute, brought to you by Tactical Tax Strategies. They help you keep more in your wallet. We help you keep more in your relationship. We've got a listener question this week. It says, I've been dating this guy for 3 months and he's amazing. Kind, funny, and even texts back at a reasonable speed. But there's one issue. He insists on calling me bro. At first, I thought it was a joke, but now bro has kind of replaced my actual name. Good morning, bro. I miss you, bro. You're so beautiful, bro. Last night, he leaned in for a kiss and whispered, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, bro. Am I dating my best friend or a gym buddy? Should I say something or just accept the fact that I'm in a romantic relationship with my bro? Sincerely, not your bro.
I would say, bro-zoned.
Yeah, no, I would say something right away. Like, why are you? I've been called dude before, and I'm like, no, like
that's not okay.
Yeah.
Do guys think that we like that? Like, what's going on?
I think it's partly, I don't know. Is it like generational?
It probably,
Because
like, I wonder how old these people are.
I know. Like if they're in their 20s, I feel like that's.
Because my kids call me bruh. What's a bruh?
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like the lingo that the kids are using.
Well,
nowadays.
and like as millennials, we go, hell yeah, brother. Like I say that, but I'm not saying that to my
significant other.
Right.
Yeah.
Men, we don't want to be called bro.
Not at this age.
And I mean, if you cringe at the thought of being at the altar with him and he's like, I do, bro. I love you, bro.
Oh my God, imagine. It's in the vows. He writes it in his vows. He's like, I so-and-so take you, my bro, to be my lawfully wedded wife.
Lawfully wedded bro.
My lawfully wedded bro.
I'm surprised she hasn't said something yet.
I know.
If she hasn't.
Yeah.
I think she has to have a conversation with him and ask him to retire the term bro.
I agree.
Hopefully he's not like, you got it, bro.
You got it, bro.
Agree. Communication is hard for people though. But it's like, if you can't speak up about that, how are you going to be able to speak up about actual?
Yeah.
Well, not that that's not actually important, but like the really like hard things. Like how are you going to be able to speak up about that if you can't even talk about nicknames.
And I feel if he cannot change that one tiny little thing for her and just eliminate that word for her, then they're probably going to have more
issues.
Communication really is the most important foundational thing that you can have in a relationship.
Oh,
For
absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
And if you don't feel comfortable talking to your significant other about something even small, then that's probably not a good sign.
And it's good to communicate at the moment you're feeling something. Like, I'm so bad at letting it boil up because I'm not confrontational at all. And I don't say anything that I don't. And then, like, I just let it explode. And it's
I'm
not
like
fair.
that. Like if they're not emptying the dishwasher or cleaning their dishes out of the sink, I'm like silently boiling until I either like do it myself or just like say something to them. But it's stupid little things like that.
It's funny.
So now we're going to read an article or discuss an article. The reasons why many modern women don't want children. I thought this would be fitting because you're not alone. So it's funny because before I had kids, I really wanted kids. And I couldn't understand the mentality of people not wanting kids. I'm like, how boring would life be without kids? Now that I have kids, I can completely understand why people don't want kids.
And I work in pediatrics. I work in developmental peds. So I work with kids that have special needs. And that's why I asked you earlier, do you like children? Because I love children. I work with them every day. I love my nieces and nephews, but I am the same way. I never have felt a super strong. I always said I would have kids for the right person if I met the right person, and I would do that, but it wasn't ever something. I never felt the way that you felt. Like, I remember before you had kids, it's all you ever wanted. Like, it's all you ever wanted. It's all you ever talked
Look
about.
at her smile.
And it's just so funny because I feel that is very true. Like, some women just have that, like, I just have always wanted to be a mother. And even though I feel like, working with kids, I do feel maternal and I feel drawn to kids, and I love working with children, but the same way.
Do you still feel that way?
It's never been a super strong urge for me to have kids of my own.
Right.
I feel like there's so many other kids that can
Do you have a dog?
better with me. I do. Yeah.
So let's find out the reasons why more and more women are not wanting kids. So did you know in 2023, the US fertility rate reached the lowest number on record? So the reasons: we are expected to give up our freedom and identity. So once you have kids, it's not about you anymore. Your old self flies out the window. It's all about the kids. And women really are expected to be the primary caregiver, and they're still expected to work as well nowadays. And to raise kids and work, that's like physically, mentally, emotionally exhausting. Mothers are expected to be constantly with their kids and are made to feel guilty for wanting to have an identity and time outside of motherhood, which leads me to my next point. Mothers are judged harshly. Have you seen the mom shaming on Facebook?
No.
It's out of control. Like, I've seen pictures that people post of their kids, and people will zoom in and spot things like, there's a packet of Doritos there that will give your kids cancer, or there's a Coke over there. Why are you feeding your kids soda? Do you know how much sugar it is? It's out of control. This mom shaming is crazy. Women are judged if they travel without their kids, if they go to happy hour without their kids. They're looked at as being selfish for doing anything without their kids. Women are judged if they don't breastfeed. This happened to me. I tried so hard to breastfeed. I wanted to, but my daughter was tongue-tied. And by the time we corrected it, my milk had dried up. And I went on medication to create the milk, and I went to classes, and I just couldn't. I tried, I couldn't. And I posted a picture, I think, and I happened to be bottle feeding my kid, and someone went off on me and called me a bad mother. And I literally cried over it because it's not like I wanted to, Anyways, there's so much pressure on mothers, pressure to be the perfect mother, to know what you're doing. And there's no handbook. Every child is different. No one knows what they're doing. Pressure to breastfeed and be a full-time mother and go to work. Mothers are made to feel guilty, again, if they go out, do anything with themselves. And it's true. Mom guilt. Have you heard of mom guilt? It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Do you ever hear of dad guilt? You never hear of dad guilt, do you? No, it's just not a thing. It's not a thing. Like, why aren't men made to feel guilty if they go out or they travel without their kids or they go to the gym without their kids?
It's a great question. Yeah.
Mothers are expected to do everything themselves, and they're still scared to ask for help. It really does take a village to raise kids, I feel. I mean, my husband traveled when I had 2 under 2, and my first one was colic, so I wasn't sleeping. By the time she fell asleep, my eldest one would wake up and I'd have to play with her. And I remember just breaking down in tears because I wasn't sleeping. And then my mom, it takes a village, was like, come on over, you sleep, I'll take care of the kids. Like, I feel like you need help sometimes. And you shouldn't feel bad for asking for help.
No, and I think kids should be off limits too. Like, I'm from the school of like, I don't think that people should talk online poorly about kids. I don't think that like, I feel like if you have issues with someone, like attacking them as a mother or bringing their kids up or even like, I just feel like it's so sensitive that like kids, I don't know, someone's parenting style and the way that they parent their kids and their kids, like, I just always feel like it should be off limits because it is so much pressure on moms to be.
It is.
Like,
and you never know what's happening in their personal lives. Like you said, your child was tongue-tied. Like, no one in the public knows that.
Yeah.
They just see what happens from the outside, and so they're being judgmental without having any information.
It's true. You don't know the story. You don't know what's really going on and what their struggles are. Society is not child-friendly. Society makes it very difficult for people to have children. Number one, because it's so bloody expensive. I mean, if you look at diapers and wipes and healthcare and cribs and strollers, like my husband and I all the time talk about how rich we would be. We would be driving Lamborghinis. We'd be rolling in the dough, you know? It's crazy expensive. And then childcare, preschool, it's so expensive. Also, companies now are still inflexible about the work-parent balance. It's still really difficult to balance that. Many women are still told that the sole purpose of being a woman is to be a mother and have kids. Like Jennifer Aniston, how much flack did she get because she doesn't have kids? It's unfair if someone doesn't want kids.
I'm told I'm selfish for not wanting to have kids, which doesn't make sense to me.
What?
Like, it's like, isn't it a good thing that I'm not like bringing someone into the world that I wouldn't want?
Yeah.
Like, so how is it selfish?
It's smart and you're responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know people that have had kids and they're terrible mothers and they shouldn't have had kids, but they probably felt pressured to have kids. And another thing that kind of makes me angry is people like Jennifer Aniston are kind of looked down upon, condemned, people pity her. What about Leonardo DiCaprio? Do people ever make him feel guilty for not having kids?
No, he's dating 23-year-old models.
Yeah. His age cutoff is 26 years old, right? Isn't it? Like once they turn 26,
those are his kids.
Those are his kids.
Is the models he's dating.
Plenty of kids. Plenty of daughters.
He's fine.
Oh, that's funny.
Women's bodies go through so much change and it's not always positive. Morning sickness when you're actually pregnant. Some women love being pregnant and embrace it. Some people don't have such a good experience. Did you read about that woman that had such severe morning sickness that she unalived herself? Did you hear about that?
What?
Oh, that's
That's sad.
She couldn't deal with it. It was so bad that she decided to take her own life.
Doctor didn't help. Like,
maybe, I don't know. And then obviously your body changes, you know, your boobs get saggy, your tummy gets jiggly, and some women embrace it. You know, I love my body because I got my kids from it, but other women, they don't embrace it as much, and every woman's different. So some just don't enjoy that part of it.
The mommy makeovers for.
I'm sure that their relationship with their husbands changed too, either for the better or for the worse.
You know what? That's not in here, but that's a great one. Your marriage, it takes a toll on your marriage. It really does. Let me see. And the last one, which I think is definitely one of the most important, is the world is a scary place and people just don't want to bring kids into it. That's my brother and his wife. That's the reason they don't want kids.
That's my biggest reason, actually, is like, I don't feel like we as a human race are leaving the world in a good place for the next generations.
I mean, if you think of not only climate change, but like the political climate and how women's rights are slowly being taken away and we're kind of regressing and going back. And then you look at all the illnesses.
And people are just shitty. Like,
people are crappy.
People are shitty. Like, it's like, I feel like at this point, like maybe 1 out of every 10 people I meet are like genuinely good people. Like, I don't know. I just don't feel like people are good.
There's a family that goes to one of the parks that I take my dog to, and their kid is probably like 6 or something. He's yelled at me about my dog before. He walked past this guy who was walking his dog and said, "Move out of the way, old man." And like, they've called the police on our dogs before, and it's just, the parents I've talked to, and they seem miserable, and they're bringing that onto their son too. So the son is being raised to talk to, like, not his elders, but just people in general in a rude way.
Essentially, his elders.
Yeah.
Like there's no respect for
Right.
the older generations anymore.
He's just, I'm like, you look like you're 6 years old. Like, how are you already at this point where you're just hating people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last one on here is fear of having a child with the wrong man.
Oh,
You don't want to get married to some guy who's not going to help out or who's going to leave. You know, being a single mother, I can't imagine how difficult that would be. And not helping out. My husband worked with a guy who had kids, and he was telling us how it's not his place to change diapers or to get up in the night to tend to the baby. So he didn't help. And guess what? He made his wife work full time. I did not like that.
Did he work full time too?
He did, yeah.
Wow.
Are they still together?
They are still together, yeah. I don't know how she puts up with that.
My sister just had her third baby, and my oldest nephew turned 3, so she has 3 under 3. And we unfortunately had to travel back home to Iowa last week, and she brought the 1-month-old with her, and she left the other 2, the 3-year-old and the 18-month-old, home alone with my brother-in-law for the first time ever. She'd never traveled by herself without the kids before, and it was so funny. We would FaceTime, and like the first night,
like crying.
The first night, yes, it was so funny. The first night, he's laying on his back on the floor, and the 18-month-old is just like standing on him, jumping on him. Yep. The 3-year-old is in like this like circus, this like play circus tent that they had. He's like, Maxie's circus show, and he's like opening the door and screaming out, and the little one's just jumping on top of him, and he's laying there on the floor. My sister is like, good luck, honey. Like there's soup in the freezer.
Funny. And Joan's like, let's go get martinis. So one thing that my sister actually made a good point. She's like, the real gold diggers in life are men that expect women to not only take care of the house and the kids and to cook and to clean, but also expect them to work full time. It's kind of true, right? Those are the real gold diggers.
Being a mom's a full-time job is what it seems like. Like, and to be expected to work full-time in addition to that, I can't even imagine.
I know.
And how do you fit time to go to the gym? They say go to the gym, be healthy, be active. How do you fit time to do laundry and housework and cooking, meal prepping, working, raising the kids, and going to the gym?
You can't. You don't.
And enjoy your own time, peace to yourself.
Do you get time to yourself?
Like when the kids go to bed. But it's the struggle because I'm so tired and I want to go to sleep. But I'm like, I only have, an hour to myself. Do I watch a show? Do I read or do I just sleep? But that's like the only time. It's such a small window.
What about time with your husband too?
You have to make time for it. So luckily we have my parents in town.
Okay.
That, they'll look after the kids for us to do date night or to whip to Prescott for a night. I feel like that is key in making a marriage with kids work is you really do have to carve time one-on-one.
And you have to have help. Like you have to either have like a babysitter that you super trust, or you have to have family close. You do have to, it's as a husband and wife, like as a team, as a 2-person team, to do all of it yourselves is really hard.
And because you do always put the kids' needs first. So you should sit down with your husband and be like, okay, what are our needs? What do we need?
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons my parents moved to Montana, because that's where my sister lives with her 2 kids and her husband. And they've got her husband's parents there that live 2 minutes away, and then my parents live 10 minutes away from them. So they have all the grandparents that can help them out. So that's really nice.
They have their village.
Yes.
Yes, they do. So now we are going to discuss the celebrity cart, where we marinate in the juices of the celebrities. Yeah. So I've got to talk about Bachelor Nation juice, because I used to be on The Bachelor. I was on The Bachelor many, many moons ago. I'm one of the OGs.
United States?
Yeah, Ben Flajnik. It's from the olden days.
I watched Ben's season.
Did you?
Yeah.
I shouldn't maybe say this, unpopular. Like, he was so boring.
He was so boring.
I was going to say the most boring bachelor in Bachelor Nation.
Statistically, he was.
Maybe.
The finale was
not a fact.
The finale was in Switzerland, right?
Sorry?
The finale was in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I was pissed I didn't make it to the finale, because I was born in Switzerland. That's
How far did you get? My mom was born in Switzerland.
Was she? Where?
In
Bern?
She lived in Cramontin.
Oh, really? I was born in Bern.
Bern, okay.
Yeah.
Is that the French-speaking part?
I think it's the German-speaking part.
Okay.
I'm actually not sure.
She's French-speaking part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
That's cool.
Anyway, so did you hear? So you know Ari and Lauren?
Yeah.
They actually live in town.
They live here, right?
Yeah.
Really?
So he picked Becca and then decided, oops, sorry, I made the wrong choice. I want to be with Lauren.
I remember that.
And they're together to this day. Yeah, they live in Scottsdale.
And they have kids.
So they had a girl, and then they had twins.
Okay.
And then he's older than her. I think he's in his 40s now. So they had the twins, and he's like, snip, 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 I'm done. We're not having any more kids. And she's like, wait, hold on, I'm not done yet. So they recently decided that they were going to try for another. So he reversed the vasectomy, and they're pregnant again.
I saw that news. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
That's
exciting for them.
crazy.
I didn't know they were here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that's crazy. Like 4 kids. I don't know if I could do 4. That's a
I
lot.
know. You know who
Especially with
else is
twins.
here? Is Clayton.
Yes, I heard he's here. Have you met him?
No.
No?
No, I think he runs like a podcast.
He does a podcast,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's just weird to be in such close proximity to people whose drama we watched unfold on TV, you know?
Right.
And he had a lot on his season too.
Did he have drama?
And after too. He had like, there was a girl who was claiming that she was pregnant with his kid.
Oh my
and
gosh.
it was like really bad drama. He was in lawsuit for a really long time about it.
Was it his?
No, I don't think she was even pregnant.
What?
It was one of those things.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
so she lied about
Yeah.
even being pregnant?
She wasn't even pregnant.
Cuckoo. That's crazy.
Seriously?
Yep.
So the other Bachelor news is, did you hear about Sean Lowe and his dog?
No.
You know Sean Lowe and Catherine?
Yeah.
And he proposed to her, and they're still together with, I think, 3 kids now.
I love them.
They're so wonderful,
love
aren't
them.
they? They're such good
They're
people.
so natural with one another, just like, and like so funny. They're back and forth. It's good.
I adore them.
Yeah.
And so he rescued a dog, Moose, I think 2 months ago. It was a boxer, and they were grilling outside, and the smoke set off the fire alarm, and the dog just attacked him and like ripped open his arm, and he needed stitches. The next day, the dog attacked him again. So he like had to hold the dog down until the police got there, and he was like, didn't want to let go because he didn't want the dog to keep attacking. Anyways, he finally let him go, and again he attacked his other arm and needed stitches there, but he didn't want the dog to be put down, so he gave him to his trainer.
Wow.
So, but obviously
That's
he has
crazy.
kids, he couldn't keep the dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy.
That's so sad.
And a
That
boxer,
is
I didn't
really
know,
sad.
are boxers violent dogs or aggressive dogs?
I feel like
I
not
don't know
typically.
much about. Yeah, I've never heard much about boxers. being
My
that way.
big dog is a boxer mix. They're always so like goofy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like boxers are more like goofy
Yeah.
than they are.
He probably had
aggressive,
some sort of
but
trauma
I-
if he was a rescue.
I feel like any dog can become that way
Yeah.
if they
Even
have been
mine,
treated
who's
a
like the
certain way.
sweetest angel boy ever, like you still have to be careful, like putting your face too close to their face. You just
Yeah.
never know what'll trigger them.
Yeah.
Just like humans, we can't judge dogs. We don't know what they've been through.
that's
We don't know their past.
Yes, we
True.
have to remember that.
So what is your favorite place to go on a first date here in town?
I really haven't been on many first dates here in town, so I don't know that I could even
How long have you been here for?
say. November of 2023.
Okay.
But the 2 guys that I've dated, it's kind of started off just more casual, where I haven't been taken on like an actual date here yet.
I need to find you someone
I
who
know.
can wine you and
Yeah.
dine
I know.
you.
I love
Yes.
salmon. I love steak. So wherever there's good salmon or steak, I would go. But I haven't been to any fancier restaurants here. But I also like something more casual too, like mini golf sounds fun, or just something where you kind of get to know each other on a more low key level. Yeah.
And there's that new spot, that mini golf spot up north, right?
Oh, it's
Woods
Scottsdale
opened
Quarter.
something.
Pop stroke.
Pop stroke,
Yes,
yeah.
I've heard of that.
Have you been
yes,
there?
I've heard of it. I've
No.
never been there. I think that would be a fun first
I
date
think so
spot,
too.
though.
Yeah, I think so too. Have some
Yeah.
cocktails. and,
Yes.
hit some
Yes.
balls.
How do you feel about like coffee or ice cream dates? Or are you more of a take me to a full on dinner for
No,
a
I'm
first
more
date?
of a coffee.
You're more of a coffee,
Yeah.
the casual.
Yeah, because then if you don't like them, then you can leave pretty
Right?
soon. Yeah.
I feel like any woman that disses coffee and ice cream because it's not extravagant enough, I feel like that's kind of a red flag, right?
think
I
so,
just saw a
too.
video about that online where this girl was like, absolutely do not go on coffee dates. That means that the man's not making an effort at all.
Yes, this is
I'm
a
like,
thing that's
yeah,
going around.
which I just don't
Yes.
think is true.
Yeah, I don't think it's true either.
Yeah.
I prefer a more low key first date for
Like,
sure.
yeah, I wouldn't want to be taken to $100 a meal dinner right away if I don't know you.
Yeah, especially because typically an expensive meal takes a long time. And what if there's no
Yeah.
chemistry and he's boring or he's creepy?
Yeah. And
It's
I
harder to
always
get
feel
out.
bad when people pay for me for anything too. So that's a thing I need to get over. But like, especially for a first date, I'd be like, this is too much.
Yeah.
You are definitely not from Scottsdale.
No,
keeper. So now it's time for the juiciest segment of the show, the meat grab. Are you down for the challenge? Up for the grab?
I'm
Willing to
down.
share? Pick one if you dare.
We didn't warn you about this part.
Some are innocent, some are not so innocent. Pick one at your own risk.
Oh, this isn't even as juicy as it could be. What's on my bucket list?
Oh, boring.
Can I pick another one?
Yes, please.
Well, tell us about your bucket list. What's top of your bucket list?
I want to get married in Iceland.
Really? I've heard
Yeah.
Iceland is amazing.
It
I
is.
want
wanna
all
go.
like the natural hot springs
Yep.
and everything.
So you want to get married there outside?
Yeah, under a waterfall.
Oh,
Very
In your
specific.
bikinis? Wow, that's kind of
Not
cool.
in my bikini.
Oh, you mean under where it's not pouring on you?
Yeah,
Okay,
there. I
sure.
went with my dad in a wedding dress.
Would you take?
I went with my dad in 2014 for a week, and it was like the best trip of my life.
Oh, cool.
It was life changing. Honestly, that trip took me out of a pretty bad depression that I was in.
Really?
Because it opened me up. I was like, oh my God, there's so much more to the world than my tiny little. This was right after college, and I had come out of it. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't feeling good. I was binge eating. Like, it just was not a good time in my life. And I went to France first with my mom for my cousin's wedding, and then Iceland with my dad for a week. And I came home and I felt like completely a new person.
life-changing
Yeah,
trip.
like
That's
totally
amazing.
refreshed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl?
Yeah,
Really?
that's something I'd like in a man too, is that they like football, but
Sports.
yeah.
Who's your team?
Yeah.
I don't fully have a team yet. So I just recently got into football like 3 years ago, and I haven't been ready to commit to a specific team yet. But
She has commitment issues.
I know. I feel like I
The
need
beige flag.
I need to know more about the team, and I need to have some sort of connection. So like Denver Broncos would make sense because I'm from Colorado, or I was born in Massachusetts, so Patriots could make sense if I wanted. But I've been wishy-washy about choosing.
Back in the 90s, I chose my football team based off of the cheerleaders' uniforms.
Wow.
Who's your football team?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's funny.
America. Yeah. I think just fun experiences that you can only do once in a lifetime, but that are also like safe. Like, I don't really feel like I need to jump out of a plane, but I would like to like be in that plane, you know? So yeah.
Pick another one.
All right, try to get a
Juicy one.
Well,
I feel like I need to take that one out. I feel like I need to take all the vanilla ones out.
No, because it's nice to talk about
That's
vanilla
true.
things too. It's interesting to hear.
It's true.
How do you feel about shower sex? Love it, hate it, or super neutral? Okay, I'm gonna say super neutral. I think it's hot, but at the same time, just like making out when your faces are super wet, it's not as great. Like, I feel like everything's kind of, it's not as, what's the word that I'm trying to think of? You don't feel as much.
Things get washed away
Yeah.
a little bit in the shower.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it's okay to get started in the shower, but
Yeah.
I think it needs to then move somewhere else.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't, I guess we're being transparent here. Like feel as good.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Meat Market. And thank you so much, Sam.
Thank
if you want
you.
to take Sam out on a date, wine her and dine her. She likes salmon and steak. Go to any of our social media platforms at Meat Market Podcast or our website, themeatmarketpodcast.com. And thank you so much to our sponsor, Tactical Tax Strategies. If you want to preserve your wealth this tax season and keep more in your wallet, you have to go to Tactical Tax Strategies. Thank you so much. See you next week at the Meat Market. Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.